Hello YouTube, I hope everyone's having a fabulous evening. Today I wanted to talk about remarkable African American athletes. Today I'm going to be talking about Colin Kaepernick, which you all know about, the man who bent the knee, Jackie Robinson, and Earl Loyd. Now I'm going to start with Earl Loyd. And actually, Earl Loyd, I had never heard of him, but I told myself I'm going to do each sport. So I said I was going to do something for baseball, which is Jackie Robinson, basketball, and when I looked up the first black NBA player is Earl Loyd. So those of y'all basketball lovers, I'm going to give y'all some history. Now, once upon a time, there were no blacks allowed, if you could imagine that, because the NBA is predominantly black, right? But there was a time when we weren't allowed in sports, okay? So Earl Loyd, Francis Lloyd, was born April 3rd, 1928, and he died recently, 10 years ago, February 26, 2015, was an American professional basketball player and coach. He was the first African American player to play a game in the NBA. All-American player at West Virginia State University. So he went to college during a time it wasn't even popular for black folks to go, but he went. So that's very inspiring to see that. Regarding the racism black players faced in the early years of the NBA, Lloyd recalled being refused service multiple times in an incident where a fan in Indiana spit on him. So back in the 50s and 60s, someone could spit on you, and like a white person could spit on you, and there was nothing you could do about it. It wasn't illegal. It wasn't considered an assault. It was just a normal thing. He even went as far as to detail a time in which he was told to go back to Africa, and plenty of times racial slurs were used towards him. However, Lloyd persevered and said that these instances only pushed him and made him play harder. Like I mentioned before, like the older generation was so strong and they persevered, and thank God they did, because we're able to do what we do now, you know. He also mentioned that he didn't get racial stances from the teammates. It was mainly from the fans. If they're calling you names, you were hurting them. You know, in 1950, basketball was like a babe in the woods. It didn't enjoy the notoriety that baseball enjoyed. So back then, baseball was more popular. Lloyd once said, "I don't think my situation was anything like Jackie Robinson's, a guy who played in a hostile environment where some of his teammates didn't want him around. In basketball, folks were used to seeing integrated college teams. There was a different mentality." I don't know if he said that or not. That's just on the internet. But if the fans were acting like that, you know, that means that they still were going through racism, you know. Prior to being drafted in the 9th round of the 1950 NBA draft, Lloyd starred in the lineup of the Harlem Globetrotters. Lloyd led the team to 2 wins over the reigning Minneapolis Lakers. This proved his talents beyond his race. Except for racial segregation, he was one of the finest artists of his time. Lloyd's talents were recognized amongst other black teammates, the two being Chuck Cooper and Nathaniel Sweetwater Clifton. All 3 would go on to be drafted by the NBA. Clifton in 1950, Cooper in 1950, and Lloyd in 1950, the 100th overall pick. Lloyd was drafted in the 9th round with pick number 100 by the Washington Capitals in the 1950 NBA draft. So that was like the first one, I guess. Nicknamed the Big Cat, Loyd was one of 3 black players to enter the NBA at the same time. It was because of the order in which the team season openers fell that Loyd was the first to actually play in a game in the NBA, scoring 6 points on Halloween night. The date was October 31st, 1950. One day ahead of Chuck Cooper of the Boston Celtics and 4 days before Nat Clifton of the New York Knicks. So those 3 teams had the first black players. New York, Boston, Chuck Cooper of Boston, Nat Clifton of New York, and he represented Washington. And so now I'll be talking about Jackie Robinson. Now, Jackie Robinson is a famous name that we all kind of know, but I just wanted to talk about him because he is the first, and that's what I'm going to dive right in. Jack Roosevelt Robinson, aka Jackie, was born January 31st, 1919, and died in October 24th, 1972. He was an American professional baseball player who became the first African American to play in the Major League Baseball. In the modern era. Robinson broke the color line when he started at first base for the Brooklyn Dodgers on April 15, 1947. The Dodgers signing Robinson began the end of racial segregation in professional baseball, which had relegated black players to the Negro Leagues since the 1880s. His use of nonviolence and his talent challenged the traditional basis of segregation that had then marked many other aspects of American life. He influenced the culture of and contributed significantly to the civil rights movement. Robinson also was the first black television analyst in Major League Baseball and the first black vice president of a major American corporation, chock full of nuts. In the 1960s, he helped establish the Freedom National Bank, an African-American owned financial institution based in Harlem, New York. After his death in 1972, Robinson was awarded the Congressional Gold Medal and Presidential Medal of Freedom in recognition of his achievements on and off the field. In conclusion, Jackie Robinson was spit at by his teammates. He had teammates calling him nigger. You even had teammates that went as far as to say that they did not want to play with him at all because of the color of his skin. And his coach had to stand up for him and say, listen, we're here to make money. This is a game. Let's get to it. So he had people stand up for him because people were so racist that they felt like, they didn't want to be on the same team as him. So Jackie Robinson went through a lot and he persevered, and this is why he's a household name. Now I will talk about Colin. I chose to pick Colin because for our generation, he's very courageous. You have a lot of people who don't even want to sign a petition. It's something as simple as, like, right now I'm an assistant teacher, right? And most people are on board. But you have people who, like, won't even sign it because they just are just so... I don't know what the word is, but, like my father was telling me, everybody didn't like Dr. King. But they definitely reaping the benefits, right? So I picked Colin because I know in this generation, a lot of people are just... I don't know what the word is, like, don't want to stand up for anything. And so I find him to be very remarkable. This is a young man and he stood up for something, and he's only 2 years older than me. So Colin Kaepernick, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, was born November 3rd in Milwaukee, 1987. He's 6'4", and might I add, very handsome. Just my type. Intelligent, courageous, so, and yeah, like what he did was just so amazing, and he stood to his ground. He stood his ground, and that's what's up in this generation. And after he did what he did, it led to the Black Lives Matter movement. Like people don't realize just him bending his knee meant a lot. Because not gonna lie, when I was in school, I was never the type to do this and pledge. And he took a stand. You know, we had went through something, and he decided to speak his mind and stand on his truth. Right? So he's considered a civil rights activist, as he should, and former professional football quarterback. So yes, he is unemployed, and he's not able to work for the NFL anymore because he took a stand for civil rights. Let that marinate. So that shows that this country is not free. A person has a right to stand for something as simple as civil rights. And he has been, he played 6 seasons, and he knelt during the national anthem. And when you think about it, that's slavery. Because for you to fire somebody because they do something so simple like that, it really shows that we're not completely free. We're not. If somebody doesn't want to pledge, that they should be able to do that if they don't want to pledge, But in protest of police brutality and racial inequality in the U.S., that's why he did that. He played college football, of course, which that's most football players, for the Nevada Wolfpack, where he was named the Western Athletic Conference Offensive Player of the Year twice, and became the only player, trying to get to the After initial backlash against his protests, Kaepernick pledged to donate $1 million to organizations working in oppressed communities. He donated $25,000 to the Mothers Against Police Brutality organization that was started by Colette Flanagan, whose son fell victim to police brutality. In 2018, Kaepernick announced that he would make the final $100,000 donation to his $1 million pledge in the form of $10,000 donations to charities that would be matched by celebrities. Inspired by Kaepernick, other NFL players and pro athletes conducted various forms of silent protest during the national anthem. His San Francisco teammates awarded him the team's Len Echtman Award as the player who best epitomized the inspirational and courageous play of former 49er Len Echtman. He's also vegan. He was baptized Methodist, confirmed Lutheran, and attended a Baptist church during his college years. He spoke about his faith, saying, "I think God guides me through every day and helps me take the right steps and has helped me to get to where I'm at." He has multiple tattoos about his faith. His right arm features a scroll of the Bible, verse Psalm 18:39 written on it. He has a baby with Nisa Diab. Their child was born 2022. Yeah. So I don't know why other celebrities are not like on his side. I feel like enough people have enough voice, and it just shows you like a lot of black celebrities have money but possibly no power, because I think it's if enough people came together and complained that he's not on the team, he should be back on. And I would love to start a petition for him to get back on the NFL, because that's just crazy. Like, this is not the 60s, but yet we have the similar issues that our grandparents and was going through, and it's really a shame. And you know, what he's doing and what he's done is awesome. He's living his truth because he's taking a stand for what he believes in, and that is so important. You know, I wish there was something I could do to, you know, all of us, to get him back on the NFL, because it's like, what kind of crap is that? Like, the first step that we made is there were no black artists performing. Like, everybody agreed after that to don't perform for the Super Bowl, right? So then Jay-Z, he signed something with them, and everybody was on his case. But then the next thing we know, different people performing. You know, Rihanna performed when she was pregnant, and then this Sunday is going to be SZA and Kendrick Lamar. Like, did we forget that quickly? 2016 wasn't that long ago. 2016 was pre-pandemic, but come on, guys, we got to do better than that. Like, I remember everybody was like, boycott NFL, and we should. Like, yeah, we definitely should, like, to get Colin back onto NFL, because his feelings are valid. He's right. You know, somebody got to take a stance, you know. But I definitely commend him. He is very courageous for our generation, because it seems like people are just afraid to speak up. And you don't have to be an NFL player to speak up. You know, whatever job you have, it's good to speak up. Sometimes it's hard, you know, especially if you're in corporate America. But if you ain't making no money, say your piece. You know, it's like I said, right now there's a petition going around for paras, aka assistant teachers, and you got some people that won't sign it. It's like, so when everybody get bonuses, you shouldn't get nothing. You know, like, it's people who, they don't want to participate in stuff, but they want to reap the benefits of what comes after the victory. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just crazy to me, you know. But yeah, those are the three people. And yeah, those are my thoughts.